The cost of living in Splinterlands has gone up a little bit lately. Not too bad. Yeah, I got out of the swamp. Start jacking. I was in.
It is up right now. That's for sure. We will see if this lasts. It will be interesting to see.
You know, when it really does make me think, though. Like, we know, here's the things. All right, I won't put on my conspiracy hat for a minute, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Here's the things we know. Splinterlands, the company, announced this past winter that they are building new games for other companies. One of which, Warner Music Group. Isn't that right?
Sure.
So we know those games are existing. We don't know where they're being built. They did mention that all holders or potential holders of SPS are going to be airdropped assets, for these new games in a recent AMA. So in my mind, that's kind of hinting to the fact that these newer games are going to be built, at least one of them is going to be built on Hive. I just have that feeling that it sounds like they're building on Hive. And if that's the case, I feel like there are 20 people out there, probably with some money, that know what's about to happen. And I feel like some people are buying up Hive, or they need Hive for their venture. So I don't know what the case is. This is pure speculation.
Sure.
I know Gank doesn't like to do it, but
no.
I mean, crypto market is moving sideways.
Right, I don't mind speculating. That's not the same as giving people financial advice.
No,
we can talk about why everybody knows here that this is all for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah,
that we don't give financial advice. That we just
play a game.
We're two clowns with cameras.
I mean, that's the name of our next channel, by the way.
Two clowns,
one camera.
Two clowns, one camera.
Oh God. Never mind. All right, let's just stay.
Little throwback. Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting. For sure, with those things on the horizon. I think Splinterlands, the company, the team, they're very proficient in Hive, in understanding and building on Hive. I know they've said in past AMAs that it would make sense for them to continue like staying within the Hive ecosystem. For even when they had questions about like you figure about taking Splinterlands and into other ecosystems other than like the bridges and stuff.
Yeah.
And it seems that they're like really leaning into it, like unless there's a reason to do it. They feel pretty comfortable here. And as we've talked in the past, the no transaction fees for on-chain.
It's a great blockchain.
It's
a phenomenal blockchain for gaming and stuff like that.
Any type of gaming other than like real-time gaming because of the 3-second blocks. But any game where you can have 3 seconds in between a turn and it's still smooth, it's a great option for building because it can handle the stress test of high volume and it's been through that stuff before. Like I've seen stuff about it still like having much more room to be able to handle much more transactions, and just that part alone, the on-chain free no gas transfers, or doesn't even have to be a transfer, it could just be an action in a game. There's no gas fee, so that just makes building a game smoother. You don't have to charge for every action like you do on a lot of other places. And I think that's ultimately a huge advantage when it's embraced. So for sure, I mean, the whole reason I found Steam Monsters, which was what
it was in the beginning,
which was what Splinterlands originally was because that's how I felt about the Steam blockchain, which is now, the same as Hive blockchain. because of that reason, it was a great place to build, and I really bought into that, and so that's why I was hanging out there all the time, and that's why I happened to see them pop up. So,
And
that it's definitely a possibility. Now, the counter argument to that, real quick, is that
please.
The pump just now seems very familiar as 100 other pumps on Hive before, where it's just a rocket ship up, and then dwindles down, and then basically falls back to where it started. So it looked like there was a lot of
the only difference
volume
with
in
this
Korea. There's a lot of volume in Korean exchanges, it looked like. So who knows? But that's the counter argument there.
No, I do agree with you, but it does look like if you needed to buy a large amount of Hive, you can't do it all at once. You just can't. Or you're going to pay a ridiculous amount. So you're going to buy it in chunks. And the big pump that we had that took us from about 40 to 60, 2 weeks ago, settled back down around 50 and 54, and it held there pretty strong. And then this pump took it up to 80, and now we're already seeing it come down to 70. But if it rests at about 60 and 64 after this, then my gut is that someone is accumulating.
I mean, I am looking at the charts now for exactly what you're talking about, and it went from 46.3. I'm looking on my other computer.
Sorry.
It went from 46 cents down to 43 before pumping up to 55. Actually, it got up to 50, 58 there. Then it fell back down to like 40, 48, 49. Or actually,
let's see. I got the chart.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can.
But yeah, it's definitely looks like it leveled off there, and then boom, another big uptick. I mean, you definitely could be onto something here. I mean, definitely.
I mean, I watched the Hive chart. I've watched it every day for 3 years, man. This is different.
Sure.
Yeah, because I mean
that is a big pump. That held the gains, and then another big pump.
At a time when the crypto market, as a whole, has relatively, moved kind of sideways. I would say the exception is, Ethereum's done. It's had some really nice gains recently.
Ethereum, Bitcoin too has bounced back about 20% or so.
Let's just look at Ethereum.
Bitcoin's at 23,000, and it was at 18,000, right?
Yeah.
So that's about a good.
Yeah, but Ethereum was down.
Sure, no, Ethereum had a nice run there with there's been some stuff on the horizon there that they're trying to get
1,000 a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's definitely nice to see some of this bounce back up, and as we mentioned before, all this talk about recessions and all this stuff out of nowhere, I didn't buy into it then, and this is why. It just seemed like more of like as magically as it appeared, now people are like, now if you listen to all the shows and stuff, well, this is different. Maybe it doesn't mean a recession. Now always there's always something in the back pocket that flips the switch. So that's why when you hear everybody zigging, doing a little zag doesn't hurt.
No. And just having steady goals, especially in a game like Splinterlands. Yes, it does have the crypto element. Hive is the main token supporting the entire game, but it's still SPS, DEC, and running on Hive will also probably see a good little move for SPS and stuff. And like we see with like Rising Star, Gathering, we're going to get to this in just a second, dude. Like Rising Star, if you look at that game, it is doing very well. It's getting its active player base is way up. It's selling cards, selling packs at a high rate right now, and I am willing to bet 95 to 90% of the active players on Rising Star came from Splinterlands. Like, we're on Splinterlands first and found that game,
I believe
on
it.
Hive. And so if these other games that we can build or that are being built, if they are being built on Hive, it will be a great thing for Splinterlands, because I think those will bring new players to the Hive blockchain, and then they'll find Splinterlands. It'll be kind of the reverse effect. Obviously, a ton of us will go there too.
Especially if we're talking about, games that are being advertised by, Warner Music Group.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, that's going to bring in a whole wave of people who aren't exposed to Splinterlands or probably blockchain gaming or blockchain in general. So, definitely, a lot of optimism moving forward. And it sounded like there's going to be some reveals with some of that right around the corner. Yeah, they're talking
and
about,
that's another reason,
possible airdrop to SPS holders. Sounded like, in the realm of things. But yeah, so the airdrop ended. It stopped pushing out all that daily SPS. Some stuff started picking up, but there has been that seemed to be like SPS has been pushing up a little bit every day for the last week.
And it's almost sitting at 8 cents right now, dude.
Well, that's inflated. It's I'm looking at
7.2 now.
That's what I was gonna say. On Hive Engine, it's 7.2. I know that the Splinterlands website was picking it up a little higher than Hive Engine at one point. I don't know where it's at right now.
And
yeah, it's fallen back a little bit there.
Yeah, but still, it's good. Just to be close to 8 again is nice.
No, it was nice. And DEC, I saw that up to around 80% of its peg. I'm sure it's going to dip back down, but when a pump happens on Hive, we've talked about it before. Everything on Hive Engine is priced in Hive, and so all of a sudden, like, things are either, depending which way the market goes, things are either a lot cheaper or more expensive than what they're listed for. And I actually, I made some moves, and sold some stuff, and then swooped up on some BNB and some Litecoin just to hold, because I was able to get them at the actual prices that they were in the market. And so it's a good place to kind of like
let things settle.
Because I mean, if everything's pushed up in the same amount, then it all comes down the same amount. So I was able to slide over and actually had a pretty good evening here.
Good.